Hey there, Internet. Keeve here, and welcome to the Lawns with Keeve YouTube channel. And it's a beautiful spring day. It's actually a little bit cooler. This is, I think, is the last cold morning. I mean, I'm in northern Georgia. I don't know if I said it in other videos. So that's what this climate is based on. Where you live, you could have different soil temperatures, maybe a few weeks earlier green up, a few weeks later green up, stuff like that when it comes to the Bermuda. But it's got to about 42 degrees last night, but I looked at the forecast for the future. It's supposed to be low 70s today, but then it's like mid to low 80s for like weeks, almost drought conditions as well, and then just low 60s. So I think we're over the cold spell, which I think is a good time to just throw down some 10, 10, 10 today. That's what I like to do after the scalp, is to throw down just a little bit of feed. You know, the grass been dormant all winter. It's used up all of its nutrients. It needs a little bit, but it's not time yet to throw out the heavy stuff. Lots of nitrogen yet, in my opinion, for the green up. That's what I'm going to do at the end of the month. So it's the early April, end of April. That's when I'll really start to kick off. So we're just going to do a quick mow, a quick edge and all that. Then we'll get to putting out the 10, 10, 10. It kind of sucks because springtime here in this area, it's always pretty windy most of the day. As the day goes on, it gets windier. And when I run the sprinkler system, then, you know, it's just going to blow all over the place, which kind of sucks. But when you're throwing out dry fertilizer, it's always best to kind of get it watered in as quick as possible. But if you don't have a sprinkler system, then obviously you're going to have to work with the rain schedule. I was going to put it down this past weekend, but it showed some pretty significantly heavy rain, and I didn't want to throw it out and then have it all go get washed away. So I'm also going to show how I figured out the square footage for my yard to figure out exactly what I need to put where, and that will also work for the liquid fertilizers down the road. So let's get into it. I'm telling you, there's nothing like a nice tight edge. Yes, there's weeds in there. So off camera, I decided to just pull some weeds. It's pretty bad. When you cut it really short, you scalp it really short, it makes most weeds not want to grow as well as they could. But if you wait a couple days, they'll get bigger and they'll be easy to pull. But with all this new sod all over the place and all the sprinkler lines, and I just couldn't do pre-emergent, and this is what I'm dealing with now. Hopefully in a month or so, after the new sod's been a year old, we'll start hitting it with some negate or something to kill it off. But I really don't like to use weed killer. I just like to do pre-emergent, and I like to just pull the weeds whenever I see them. I usually keep them under control, but I took this winter off, and now I'm paying for it. All right, we got the Revolution 26 out. I love doing the cuts without the bag. The bag changes the behavior of the mower. It weighs it down on turns and stuff. It's just so much more nimble when you don't have it. Cuts better. It's just much more enjoyable. Now, obviously, before you do cut, you need to do debris check. All right, so not much. This part are just really just a piece of pine straw and this, but this right here could ruin your day on a reels mower. Well, I don't know how much that recorded because the wind blew. I'm telling you, it was windy. The wind blew the tripod over. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this. We're going to fertilize later in the evening. Now, as you can see, this area does not get a lot of sunlight. It's it's very thinned out. So that's why I don't cut this way, because it's too many quick turns in such a small area. Now we break out my favorite thing, which is the rotary scissors. These things are amazing. I'll never use a string trimmer again. It works really great for these areas like this where the sidewalk is much higher than my grass line, which I'm going to try to fix this year. But the Reels mower can't make this because it'll, you know, bottom out the blades. And of course, we have to keep that domination line tight. Now I'm gonna do some roundup off camera real quick, but I wanted to show you exactly what I do. These are the 18 volt. I mean, these things, the batteries, you never have to change them out. They last forever. I use Roundup Pro. It's slightly different than the Roundup that's used by at Home Depot, the regular Roundup. It's just basically glyphosate that's in a really high quality surfactant, which is meant for a more systemic kill of the root rather than say a regular Roundup, which has a lot of burn agents where it'll kill you see the weed gets brown like within a day or two, but it doesn't always kill the root. The Roundup Pro is manufactured to kill the root. It's more for commercial use. That means that it may take a week or 2 weeks before you see the total kill of the weed. Some people don't like those longer results. They want those instant results. But the best thing about this stuff is it's so much cheaper. It's so much cheaper. It's about $80 for a gallon of regular Roundup concentrate at Home Depot or on Amazon. It's $80, or between 80 and 90 bucks, depending when it's on sale, for 2 gallons. And this is higher concentrated, so you use less ounces overall. Now I take that bucket up here because my hose isn't long enough on my my transfer pump here. All right, really just get the square footage. It's very simple. I do apologize, the sun is like right at me right here, but I just use one of these. It's cost about 45 bucks. They're between 40 and 50 depending on, you know, sales and all that crap. But see, like this part of the yard is very easy because it's kind of square, right? So you'll get your length and width and you just figure out your square footage. Now, if you find a part of your yard where it's an L, you'll have to break it up in sections to find your square footage. If you have curves, maybe go through the curve a little bit in some area and over the curve in another area to kind of compensate, right? It's not exact science. It's okay if you're off by a couple, you know, square foot. So these things store about 5 memory settings. So I can recall back the memory from that one. So 42 times 65, 2,730 square feet. So for instance, an area like this, see where it kind of juts out, and then we curve back because the tree line is obviously, we can't grow grass under that tree line. But as it go back this way, that's where the majority of the grass is. So I walked my square footage to about right here, and I ignored this, and that replaces, you know, that area down there and kind of makes it, you know, square, rectangular, whatever you want to make it. So that area is 41 by 58, 2,378 square feet. All right, that area is 21 by 44, 924 square feet. All right, I got 22 by 80, 1,760 square feet right there. All right, that area looks so much bigger than it actually is. So square footage wise, it's 35 by 53. It's 1,855 square feet. All right, this area is kind of a crapshoot because you see the massive curve down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ignore this section till about right here. And I'm just going to walk straight through the pine straw to the edge. And all that pine straw that I'm counting, I'm just counting that as the grass that I've missed. And then obviously that there are like $500-600 GPS things that you can just walk the edge. It'll tell you the exact square footage. So that area is 124 by 22, 2,728 square feet. So my yard's really easy. At 12,000 square feet, 3 40-pound bags will handle that, because in the spring for 10-10-10, to get 1 pound of nitrogen, 1 pound of potassium, 1 pound of phosphorus, you want to be at 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet. 120 pounds, 10 pounds, 12,000 square feet. Pretty easy, right? It depends on what setting you want to do your spreader at. You don't have to put your spreader at 10 pounds per square foot. I'm going to put mine at 14 on here. That's 3 pounds per square feet. And I'm just going to go 3 different directions to make sure I get a really nice, even spread across the area, and then I can move on to the next one. I just find that just so much better to do rather than try to put it all down in just one swath. It gets a nice, even, more balanced distribution. And if you F up, you don't F up the full amount, you F up a third of the amount. Another great thing about this Earthway, it holds exactly 40 pounds of this type of fertilizer. So as I was filming the side of the yard that's behind you right now, the phone died like before I even got to do the stripes. So it wound up being just right. We were about between a quarter and a half of the amount that's left doing 3 stripes. So that was about 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So this area is 2,000 square feet. So when we get done, we should be at the halfway mark, right? Let's try it out. I think we got right on the dot, maybe slightly more. Obviously 3 pounds, that's like 9 pounds per 1,000 instead of the 10, but gives us a little bit less extra left over, and then we'll just come through and speed run if there's anything left. There's actually very little wind right now, so I'm gonna try my sprinklers. I'm gonna set my zone 1 and 2. I'm gonna do a video people asked on my irrigation system, but we're just gonna go ahead and set up zone 1 and 2 at, I usually do 6 to 7 minutes each. And you can see why I only do 5 to 6 minutes. This is a lot of coverage, right? I don't need 15 to 20 minutes at a time. I can do 5 to 7 minutes, switch. I do that about 3 times in rotation. It takes about 2.5 to 3 hours total. I'll just cycle all zones and then come back and cycle all zones again. Well, I did the whole yard and we have about that much left. So we went a little light, which is just fine. I'm just going to speed run some areas that I felt didn't get enough. Well, while these are going off in the background and I barely have any light left in the day, I waited till later on. Anytime you do fertilizer or anything, you should wait till it's about 85 degrees or less. So you don't really want to do it during the middle of the day. The best time for me is I don't like to do it in the dew in the morning. It's too wet. I like it later in the afternoon, 7, 8 o'clock. Now, watering at this time of night isn't a great thing to do, but we're kind of in a drought condition. No rain for a long period of time. I think it'll be just fine to get this watered in about, this is probably between 1/10 and a 1/4 of an inch. Like, it's serious coverage. And in the morning, I'll do a little more, get maybe another 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of water on there. Wait until you see the next few videos. I bought something from China that's big and digs. So we're going to be doing some big work around the pine straw islands and putting out 200 bales of pine straw as well. So it should be a pretty fun next couple of weeks. So don't forget to check the links below for anything in the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm telling you, there is nothing like oh my gosh. I mean, how annoying is that for that one leaf? You know what's going to happen? Another gust of wind is going to blow more in the yard than, say, the stupid fly. Let me make sure I'm recording. Like, the anxiety level of making sure that you're recording and this and that is just, all right, we are recording. So for checking the links below.